first guest tonight is an Emmy-nominated actress, comedian, and best-selling author. You know from her work on shows such as Saturday Night Live, Will and Grace, Enlightened, The White Lotus, and the other two. She stars in the 4th season of Only Murders in the Building. The season finale will stream on Hulu tomorrow, October 29th. Please welcome back to the show our very good friend, Molly Shannon, everybody.
Oh, good to see you. I'm so happy to be back.
It's been a little bit since you've been here. In fact, it's been a while because now you have 2 kids in college, which is mind-boggling to me. How is that for you?
It's great. I mean, I'm so happy for them. I think the way you feel is if they're happy and
you're fine.
have a good time, you're fine. Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes, and I see them both all the time, and I'm so close to them. So yes, I'm so happy for them. But I think it just depends on your childhood, like how you process it.
Right.
So for me, because my mom died when I was little, I was always like, oh my God, you're up to bat. Like, I take it very seriously. So I think I've been thinking about, like, this is it, this special time, you know, really enjoying it.
So you took advantage of every moment.
I really never took it for granted.
That's great.
So
you must have a very open relationship with your kids. You must talk about everything.
Yes. Oh my gosh, so open. We play games. We can be silly, and you know.
What's a game in Molly's household?
We just make up silly games. Like my daughter Stella and I. My daughter's drama. She's at drama school in New York, and we make up this silly game where we videotape one another. I have a friend who's a psychotherapist. She's a good friend of mine, and I also go to therapy myself.
Yep, very healthy.
But anyhow,
Give it up for therapy.
Give it up for therapy. Yes, it can change lives, of course. But anyhow, I think it's so funny, like when a therapist has to end the session. I like their boundaries, and I like when time is up, maybe the 50 minutes is over, and they say, I need to stop. I love that.
Yeah.
So my daughter and I play a game where I'll pretend to be the therapist and she's the patient, or I'll be the patient and she's the therapist. And we go through it and we're like, like the person who's the patient has to be like, and my boyfriend, you know, or whatever, like they do. And then it's like, I'll do it to the camera. I need to stop. And then I need to stop. And then usually they go to the door. This is what the therapists do. They walk to the door and they open the door and they stand. And it's very good boundaries, and I like it. So that's the game.
That's great.
Boundaries, I need to stop. Oh, I need to stop. Yeah, I love it. So I told my therapist, I go, yeah, my daughter and I make these funny videos. Like, do they teach you that in therapy school? Like, when it's time to stop the session and what to say? And he was laughing so hard. He was like, I have to see the videos. Isn't that funny?
I wonder, it just must be so great.
Wait, I was going to say one more thing, too. And then I had a friend who wanted to show her cute figure art.
By the way, you had real therapist boundaries right there. Real therapist boundaries with me. Can I tell you something? I really liked it. I really liked it, too. All right, so go ahead.
You liked it.
Yeah.
So another friend of mine, a male friend was going in therapy and going to show off how good his body looked to the therapist, and was like, you want to see? I look at it. And the therapist was like, I don't need a show. I like that.
Oh, I don't need a show.
I don't need a show. Stop. Yeah. I don't need a show. I like that.
Oh my God, that's really good.
And then I also like boundaries. I feel like you learn a lot. This is so silly.
Great.
I'm really sweating my stories.
You know what I like is everybody at home right now is like, what's she promoting? I think it's the idea of therapy. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I also like that your favorite thing about therapy is when they tell you to go.
Do you want to know a really good technique that I'm going to teach your audience?
Yeah.
This is something I read about because I like reading about psychology. Yeah. This is called fogging. It's like if somebody insults you and they're like, wow, you know, you sure bring a lot of suitcases when you travel, and you're like, you feel kind of defensive. Instead of being defensive, you agree with a percentage of the truth, and you would respond, you know, it's true. Sometimes I do bring more bags. So you leave the person who's making the nasty comment holding the bag of
Oh,
That's
wow.
it. It's called fogging, and the insult fogs right through you back to them. Isn't
How
that good?
long have you been using fogging as a tool? Is it new, like how long ago did you read about fogging?
I read about it many years ago, and I think
Okay,
it's
so it's
really
effective.
good.
You've taken it to the street.
Instead of being
Okay.
defensive, you fog them.
great.
Isn't that good?
That's great.
And then I think you also learn a lot about boundaries, being a person who's recognizable, because people will come up to me and they'll go, like, hi, Molly. And sometimes I'm like, is this somebody I know or is this a fan? I mean, you relate to that,
Yes.
right, Seth? And sometimes I'll be like, hi. And they're like, no, you don't know me. And I'm like, but I'll act fake like to cover myself, But basically, once I had somebody come up to me and she was like, hi, Molly, at a party, and I had a glazed over fan look. I was like, hi. And then she was like, slapped her shoulder. She was like, Debbie Downer. She was like, you don't remember me.
Oh, no.
And I was like, wah. I was like, I call it a victim's entrance.
Oh, a victim's entrance.
Yeah, it's like a victim.
Oh.
And you're like, swirling to save them. You know what I mean?
So much energy to lift
So
them
much
out of their
energy.
despair.
But Seth, I like boundaries. That's all I want to say.
Well, I'm afraid
Boundaries.
the first act of this interview is over.
Okay.
And we're going to
thank
go
you.
to a commercial, but I would like you to stick around.
Now,
and-
if you were the therapist and I walked out and I was the female patient and I was like, you would have to, maybe, you would have to look at maybe you should take your phone out to have good boundaries. I don't look at my patients when they exit.
Oh, so I made a mistake by watching your exit.
That's
I should
right.
have been like, all right, goodbye.
Yes, and I would
But
be
it's
like,
very hard when you're doing that, Molly. It's very hard. We'll be right back. Get back.